Michael Fox, and this is the Prospector Podcast. And I have joining me, I have Maura Kolb, the President and CEO of Dryden Gold. Welcome, Maura.
Hi, Michael. Nice to see you today.
Yeah, it was good to see you in Vancouver. We tried to get this recorded while we were at the conferences, but unfortunately, I lost my voice, and it makes it very hard to do podcasting when there's little squeaky sounds coming out of my mouth. So we put it off to today to do this, but it gave us another round of results. So. We got even more good information to share. But before we get into that, let's give everybody the quick 10,000-foot view of what Dryden Gold is.
Okay, I'll do that. So Dryden Gold is a junior explorer. We're looking for high-grade gold within northwestern Ontario. We're smack dab between Winnipeg and Thunder Bay, right on the Trans-Canada Highway in Dryden, Ontario.
Excellent jurisdiction, a great place to be working. You guys have been hitting home runs with your exploration, with your drill results. Since the new year, you've had several announcements on drill results. What can you share about what you've been finding out about the property?
We've been really excited about the structures we found on the property. So 2024 was a really big year for us. We went public. We did an initial drill program to try to understand what mineralization was on the property, what had been found by previous operators, and then figure out how to expand that to understand the high-grade controls on mineralization and then utilize that to find more high-grade on the property. So kind of where we ended up at the end of the year, we have a better understanding of what we call the Big Master system, which had historic mines on it. And then the Elora structure has really become our favorite. The results we put out so far this year from last year's program are really starting to show continuity and down plunge potential. It's the deepest drill pierce points that we have on the property, and they're about 250 meters depth. And we're starting to see some nice widths. The results we put out earlier this year, almost 6 grams over 12 meters, another that's almost 4 over almost 14 meters, and then 4 grams over 6 meters was kind of the most recent press results. And those are at good depths. So we're actually going to be starting up the drill here next week on the 11th of February. And we're going to be targeting even deeper on the Elora system because we see this as a real true Archean lode gold system, and they typically have very deep roots. So the project's only been drilled mainly at 100 meters depth. And with the Elora system, we're really starting to test deeper down and see that this thing has legs.
Wonderful. That's exciting stuff because the gold has a tendency to bubble up from below. So as you go deeper, are you expecting to find even wider veins and more prominent gold?
Yeah, I'm really excited about what we'll find at depth. It's nice to see such high grades near surface. We've had about 15 grams found even higher up in the system at Elora. And it's pretty exciting that we keep getting good, consistent, wider grades here. We brought the core out to AME Roundup just to kind of show the technical people that were there that this is not just a narrow vein. We actually have a shear zone here with gold distributed throughout this whole structure. So it's pretty exciting, and it gives us a really nice target to follow up on. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before to you, Michael, but this structure, we've been able to trace for about 1.5 kilometers to the north, where a historic mine called the Laurentian mine is. That mine had an average grade of 14 grams per ton. So we really think that this thing is exciting. We are in the process of getting an exploration permit to be able to drill further to the north, east on this target. And then last week we put out results that are even 2 kilometers further northeast on the main shear zone that we're targeting and we believe controls all the high grade from our field program. And we had, I believe it was 6 samples that were over 5 grams per ton. The highlight was 24 grams. So it's pretty exciting to be able to see more potential on these shear zone structures to the northeast on our property. Really starting to show potential, I think, and a big footprint for this thing.
Yeah. Now, the property itself is huge.
Yes.
And you barely, pardon the pun, scratched the surface of the exploration. But how many of these different shear zone structures do you think you have on this property, and how close together are they?
We've been focusing on what we call the Gold Rock Camp, and that is kind of central in the middle of our 70,000 hectare property, which is, yeah, it's huge. The main shear zone in the camp is called the Manitou Dinorwick deformation zone. It goes from the northeast all the way to the southwest across our property, and we've strategically, when you look at our land package, we've picked up everything that is mining claims that you can have on that structure, because it's been compared to the Timmins Porcupine Duster Fault as being a key gold bearing structure by researchers. So we certainly wanted to control that feature. Now, when we look at the Gold Rock Camp, we see parallel structures to that. So the big master structures that we've seen, they're parallel to that Manitou Dinorwick deformation zone. Same with this Elora structure. Now, we could have more than these three that we've seen so far, and that's some of the field work that we're working on. Now, what we've seen from the drilling and the field work, we've got multiple structures within about 1.5 kilometers in the Gold Rock Camp that has seen drilling and exploration. And then what we stepped out to another area that showed favorable geophysics from our overall geophysical study that we did with Maura Geoscience. That's about 2 kilometers further from where we've been drilling to the northeast. And we have another anomaly that we haven't tested at all yet, another kilometer north. So they're pretty close together. There is a trail that goes by all of them that brings us in, and we're able to drive our truck right to the drill sites at Gold Rock. So again, you mentioned in the beginning, but the infrastructure here is incredible. It's quite surprising that Dryden Camp has kind of been overlooked as an exploration target, because there's a lot of forestry work that goes on here. Because there's a paper mill in town, it gives us incredible road access. There's trails everywhere, all of our exploration targets. And you mentioned, our large property package. There are these other more east-west trending, older shear zone structures that we also believe are controlling some mineralization, and we have a regional target called Hyndman that's out to the east. We released new good results on that this year. And then to the south end of our property, there's another east-west structure that we've been mapping, and we'll get news out on soon on how that's gone. It has a 617 gram per ton surface sample on it. And so that's very interesting as well. So we're also looking at those regional targets. We've got something that we're drilling, and then other targets that we're working on. So I really do feel the potential for a district scale play here is very exciting, and looking more and more favorable all the time.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. The lineup of geos that were trying to see your core at Roundup was, anytime I passed by, was at least 2 or 3 deep, and there's a lot of impressed looks on the professionals' faces as they were walking away from that. So you're lucky. You're in an area where you can work year round. And as a result, your next exploration and drill programs are slated to start up any day now. So what are your plans for 2025, and how is what you discovered in 24 affecting those plans, and what do we want to learn from the programs this year that's going to move the company forward?
That's quite a loaded question, and that's great, because I really wanted to talk about our overall strategy for 2025. So we have been focusing on the Gold Rock Camp, and we still believe it's an excellent target. So we're going to spend a little more than half of the $5.8 million budget on Gold Rock, expanding the brownfields opportunity there, continuing to expand and grow the high-grade structures that we know about, especially Elora at depth. But we also, like I said, we're permitting right now. We're in the process of getting that permit to be able to move to the northeast and continue to test that, go up towards the historic Laurentian mine. And now we have some evidence that it continues even further to the northeast, where we've also permitted to be able to drill test it in 2025. Then we have the rest of the budget is going to be focused on what we call priority regional targets, and about 14% on early stage. So we completed a Lidar survey, which gives us really incredible air photos, but also a good idea of a really good idea of understanding of the topography. And why that's important for us is Archean lode gold is really structurally complex and structurally controlled. So you can see in the topography sometimes where these structures are. If you couple that with the geophysics that we have incredible coverage over the entire camp, that gives you great tools for finding where structures are intersecting and where there could be favorable traps for high-grade gold. In addition to that, we're going to be doing a soil till sampling program on the property. And the reason we want to do that is so that we have the geochemistry to go with our other two tools to find new potential targets on the property. Again, we have this huge property and we really believe there's a district scale play here. So we want to see if there's anything that jumps out at us using those three tools. So we'll be doing that. That'll be a portion of the summer. Pretty big undertaking to get some geochemical data. We have so far to date been taking geochemical samples from rock as well as the drill core. So we've got a big base right now for what kind of vectors, what kind of other minerals show us that we're getting towards gold. So that will help us with targeting. And then we've saved about 33% of the budget to go towards priority regional targets. Now that could be testing more at Gold Rock, because we are kind of expanding that footprint through the mapping and the other work that we've been doing in Gold Rock. And we have Hyndman, which I mentioned is the property all the way to the east, but it's literally on the Trans-Canada Highway. So the infrastructure is pretty incredible there. And we've had some really nice results there as well. We had 34.8 grams per ton grab sample, which was an expansion on our last year's summer mapping program, where we had several samples over 10 grams per ton. It's pretty exciting. And then we also have as a regional target the Sheridan property, which is at the south end of our property, and it had some pretty incredible grades from the historic operators. So we've been kind of doing a reinterp on that and understanding what that could be. So it's exciting. We want to show we have something at Gold Rock, but also grow this. And we recently had Centerra as a strategic investment at the end of 2024. And they really like the project because of the district scale opportunity here. And, you know, when I talk to other major and mid-tier companies that are kind of interested in our project and kind of following along, so to speak, that's really where they get excited too, is what could we discover here and how big could this camp be? So that's certainly our target. We want to show we have true Archean gold deposit, so show depth at Elora and Big Master, that Gold Rock camp, but also that we have new discoveries within our footprint.
That's a nice way to sum up that really extensive program that you guys have planned for this year. Is that program fully financed, or are you having to go back to the market to gain a little bit more capital to move it forward?
We are fully financed. So we have $5.8 million from the private placement and the strategic investment from Centerra for exploration. So that's flow through that we're going to spend in 2025. And we have hard dollars as well to get us through the year, plus a little bit more beyond that. So we're going to have a pretty exciting year. And it's nice to say that we don't have to go to the market for any more money at this point.
That's a beautiful thing, because when you do go back to the market, you're going to have a lot of these other questions that you raised in your discussion of the plans for this year. Those will have answers, and it'll help with the dilution going forward, and exciting times for this company. If people want to continue to follow the Dryden Gold story, and it's going to be a story that's going to have a lot of legs to it going forward, how would they do so, Maura?
Come to our website at drydengold.com. You can join our mailing list and you'll get all of our new press releases. We also do a lot of videos kind of explaining what the geologic data we collect means. So you can follow along and learn more about our project.
Perfect.
We're also on social media as well. Sorry.
Yeah, I always forget the social media too. It's one of those things that goes without saying, though. I look forward to seeing these exploration programs come out and what comes of them, and I look forward to discussing those results as they happen throughout the year. Thank you very much for joining me, and I guess we're going to see each other at the upcoming PDAC here early in March, and I look forward to taking a look at those core again.
Absolutely. It was great speaking with you today.
Thank you. Dryden Gold is a paid sponsor of the Prospector News. The host owns shares and warrants in Dryden Gold bought at the market for investment purposes. The Prospector News podcast is for educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and are not to be taken as investment advice. Listeners need to do their own due diligence and seek advice of a licensed investment advisor.